Hello, everybody. I'm Russell Hill, your host of WTF, and that is What the Fixed Ops to all of you out there today. And I'm joined by...
Hello, everyone. I'm Charity. I'm the co-host here. Now I'm going to introduce our guest today. We have Thomas Ieracitano, the CEO of DigitalCarGuy. Thomas, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're really glad to be here. So glad you're here with us.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, Thomas.
Well, let's see. 40 years in the car business as of June of this year. And I started in the business selling cars. Met my wife. She was actually our receptionist. And came through our careers together and progressed. And I've done some OEM. I worked for Ford Motor Company. And retail, sat in just about every chair in the dealership at one point or another. And then I fell into the vendor world again later on with a CRM company, and left there about 3 years ago and went out on my own and really just listening to what pain points a dealer may have and providing solutions for those pain points.
And there's a lot of pain points.
Oh my goodness.
So I got to tell you something about Thomas. So I think it's about two and a half years, something like that.
Brother, it's going on 4 years.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's going to be 4 years we were doing the Clubhouse.
Yeah. So if all of you don't know who Clubhouse or what Clubhouse is, you're going to today. Now, I know a lot of you out there know who I am, and a lot of you know who Thomas is. But we're gonna do things a little differently. We're just talking in general about the car business, probably more about the variable side, but equally for the fixed side, even though it's WTF. Okay, we're excited to expand our horizons as well. And Thomas is the first one to officially set this off. Although many of you out there that have been on, we've talked, here and there about stuff, but Thomas has had a marked impact in my life. I also didn't know what you said about your wife, but I met my wife also in the car business. She was a controller for 32 years, literally. And she's not that way at home, although maybe sometimes. But anyway, when I met Thomas, it was in a different room. Now there's the name of the room is All Things Car Biz. And it from Central Time, it's 6:45 or in the morning, and it goes until it doesn't go. But some of the most influential people from the variable and the fixed side, all aspects of it, vendors, dealer principals, you name it. I mean, you can learn a lot, and there's a lot of people that just listen and get tidbits of information, but it's really, really exciting. So much so, I'm in it every day for 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And it's a great way to get a lot of information and meet a lot of different people. If you're gonna be a part of it, just because there's a bunch of dealers and fixed ops people in there, and that you're gonna try to sell your stuff on there, don't show up. We don't even want you on there. Okay, there's a time and a place, and once you figure it out, you'll figure out. It's all really through networking and promotion, and if the time is right, you'll get your name out there. But Thomas is, ever since then, now I see him everywhere, not only during the week, but on other Zoom calls, other clubhouses, even the most recent event where I saw him at. I got a little plug here for a SodaCon. That was phenomenal. And I got to tell you that, I wish I could show you all the badges I have and I don't even have them all for over the years, but that was by far the most impactful for me because it wasn't a pitch session. It was the right amount of people. It was a great venue for learning and charities and sharing and giving back and talking about all things plaguing our industry today, which incidentally, I think, and I hope Thomas does as well, but there's a paradigm shift going on. And I'm going to ask you this. What are the most common issues you work with dealers to solve, Thomas?
People.
No.
Yeah. People are all, not only having the right people, but putting the right people on the right seats on the bus. And that comes up time and time again. And it's amazing that obviously we have those shared issues that we have to overcome.
Yep.
What I see happening, like you said about our clubhouse room, and it starts at 6:45 Eastern time, and then typically goes to about 9, but sometimes it'll go to about 10 o'clock and even later, because we got people from the West Coast that come in and share what issues they're having. And I always say we have from presidents to porters and everywhere in
True.
between.
True.
When like last week, no, 2 weeks ago, I said, hey guys, we're almost at 900 members. Let's see if we can push the envelope, get over 900, but not just vendors who think this is going to be their private fishing pond. Like you said earlier, this is that's not the forum. And if you do join for that premise, you're going to get weeded out pretty quickly.
Thomas will make sure of that, or other people in the room.
Oh yeah, my gosh, and we started this particular room. It'll be a year in September. The other room was 3 years in the making, and we broke off and started our own. And I get accused of it being my room only, but that's not the case.
Melvin and
Derek
and I don't know why. I just had a brain fart.
Gary. Gary's in there every morning.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of okay.
Ton of people that come in every morning, 6 days a week, and people ask me all the time, "Why in the world are you doing that?" Because I love the business, and the business has been so very good to me and my family. I want to give back at this stage of my career, and I've been called the connector. I've been called a couple of other nicknames, but one of the things that you'll always walk away from. Russell's laughing.
Yeah, I've heard those nicknames. Go ahead.
And one of the things you'll always walk away with one or two things that you can use to put in place in your dealership that day, whether it's a sales meeting, whether it's a process, whether it's a procedure, or it's just, hey, you got to try this gizmo. It's alleviated some pain points for me. Most of what I do is analyze, whether it be numbers, because I always say numbers tell stories, numbers or processes. And look, I get it. You're running 150 miles an hour with your hair on fire. I wish I had a me where someone could slow down, write out my processes, put them in writing, and then, have a conversation. Hey, maybe we need to tweak this. We need to tweak something because we had a change in personnel. Mm-hmm. Most of the dealerships I'm involved with, I have, quite honestly, an intimate relationship where I'm involved in a lot of the day-to-day, and whether it's salespeople, service writers, whoever it might be, they know me on a first name basis. Forget the fact nobody can spell Ieracitano.
or pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They remember Thomas and they remember DigitalCarGuy. So, part of what we do as dealerships is brand ourselves. And that was a revelation for me. 30 years ago, someone called me a .com, and I said, well, geez, maybe I need to come up with something. And DigitalCarGuy stuck. That's my 2 cents.
Well, I'm looking for 4 or 5 cents, okay? Because that was more than 2. Matter of fact, let's go to 50 cents. So let me ask you, the DigitalCarGuy, 3 years ago, if I understand correctly, you left and you started your own gig, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, are you trying to build an empire? Are you? Tell us what you do, and is it different? Is it specialty, or do you want to grow something really big, or what does Thomas want?
Many have asked me that. Are you going to hire people? Are you going to put people out across the United States? And my response is always no. At this stage in my life, time is my most precious commodity.
Amen.
And I want to spend it with people of like kind and like mind, like my brother, Russell Hill.
Right on.
Because we not only spend time 6 days a week, but in multiple places.
Mm-hmm.
Car church.
Yep.
What a wonderful opportunity that we spend on Wednesday mornings. And, when I leave the room, our clubhouse room, my puck says, hey, going to car church, be back in a few minutes. And hey, we're all adults in the car business. We govern ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beautiful part about this business. And having people of like kind and like mind around you, some of the things that we do and hand off to each other, I guess there's an unspoken rule to just do the right thing,
That's right.
no matter what it is.
Amen. Amen to that.
Yeah.
So you're just basically word of mouth. If you want a client, it's under I'm strict, of what it's going to be like type of thing. I mean, you already know what you want to do. If they want you to do something really outlandish or out of the box, but also when you said earlier that you're a connector, I've heard that over and over and over again many times because of the relationships that you've developed. Word of mouth is much more powerful. And so here, I want to. I know we got other questions, but I want to say, Thomas, I started selling cars a year after you. So 1985, when I started selling cars, ended up running stores, all that kind of stuff. In 1985, the average person sold 10 units a month. In 1995, Thomas, the average car salesman sold 10 units a month. In 2005, it was 10 units a month. And 2015, the same thing. Here we are in 2024, and it's still the same. Yet we have all this amazing technology. Now, I was truly the epitome of a manager, didn't understand what I understand now about leadership and engaging and involving people. And I hear a word all the time, and I want you to elaborate on this. So training. We hear a lot too. And it's almost like an empty word. Y'all know what I'm talking about out there? It's almost like an empty word. So yes, there is a road to the sale. And when you deviate from it, it does cost you gross, repeat, referral, CSI, and SSI. It's a proven model. I got a sales book from the 50s at Ford, and the process is essentially still the same. Yet all this other stuff has changed. And so where I'm going with all this is what's different now? Because there's a paradigm shift, not only in fixed operations, but on the variable side. There's things that are taking place. And the way we motivated and engage people is not just about training, but it's coaching, developing, and mentoring. And just for all of you, this is the stuff we talk about every single morning. Okay. And there's a lot of disagreements in there. People don't agree. It's okay. Everybody loves everybody and comes back, and they get too out of whack. And Wednesday they show up at car church, bare their soul, and go on down the road, but could you elaborate on that? Any of that?
Well, it's funny. You mentioned one word which I started myself using quite a bit: coaching. Coaching is much different than training. And, you and I've been to Sudicon and
digital and NADA and on and on and on. Yeah.
Yeah. And, one thing I saw, I'm trying to remember when it was. It's only been the last few years. The Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
And he had a quote, and it was in reference to training and coaching. He said, "Look, I don't use the word training. My dog gets trained. People get coached and mentored."
That's right.
And when the real, well, you and I have been in the front end of the store, and as managers, if we're not coaching on a daily basis, shame on us. Unfortunately, the real coaching comes when the customer's in front of us and we're practicing on customers. And they come to the desk, "Boss, here's what I got." And hopefully we go into coaching mode better than you and I when we first started, where they browbeat us, threw
Exactly.
paper across the showroom floor, all kind of nonsense. Now, when you said paradigm shift, what has really stuck from a Sudicon is love people more than cars.
I love that.
I even went out and made bracelets and some other things that I give away just to remind people that when that internet lead comes across, there's still a human being on the other end. And what we have to realize is the relationship has to start then, whether it's text, email, the almighty phone, and video. my goodness, video, 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 video.
Right.
I mean, it took me a good 6 months for me to get comfortable taking my ugly mug on a video. And now it's commonplace. I have no problem whipping out a camera at any given point and hi, this is Thomas. And I was just at Patrick Abad's store last week. And what an amazing human being, amazing facility, amazing people. And I walked around and just took videos of different portions of the store. I mean, you walk in and the front desk says, we're here to wow you. We are here to wow you right from the get-go. And, everything is laid out with such thought.
It is.
And the flow of how things should go, from the customer experience, whether it's sales, whether it's the fixed side. I mean, heck, you could just go on and on about Patrick's store.
Oh yeah.
But it starts at the top and flows downhill, like in every dealership. Speed of the leader, speed of the ship.
Yep.
Culture, leadership. How many times, Russell, we talk about reading books? I mean, my gosh.
Outwitting the devil right now, baby.
I'm reading it myself.
Oh no, that wasn't planned or timed, y'all. I'm just telling you. Okay.
I'm in the chapter 2 or 3.
I'm just 1 right now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's an amazing book.
Those are some of the things we share in Clubhouse.
Yes.
I literally have a list of probably 50, 60 books that I hear people talk about. And I'm like, it's 65 years old, soon to be 66. Do I need to be doing all this crap? No, it's the passion. It's the drive. It's the love for the business and love for people more than cars.
I love it.
That's more than just a slogan, baby.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Let me guess, at this very moment, another vendor is walking up to your lot with something shiny to sell. Before you head back and hide in your office, let me take a minute to tell you about my friend Dawn Pelham and my friends over at Global Dealer Solutions. They exist to help you find solutions to problems, some of which you might not even know you have. Best of all, they can manage as many products and services as needed for you, helping cut down on multiple vendor visits and distractions. And if you need anything, you have one number to call or text for the response all dealers like to hear. On it, GDS understands that successful dealerships require more than a set it and forget it mentality. And they'll be with you every step of the way, from setup, implementation, training, and support. And if necessary, they'll even cancel non-performing products for you. No pushback, no arguments, just a solutioneer executing course corrections as needed. Check out gdsdealers.com to learn the difference and set up a time to meet. Let's see if they're a good fit for you.
Hi, it's Larry Felt, president of Career Changers USA, and I'm proud to be on What the FixedOPS podcast.
Charity?
Do you think, Thomas, you could give us, I'm curious about these pain points and different solutions you've come up with. So can you give us an example of like problem and how you solved it? And this could be in Clubhouse too, of other people's problems, how you solved it.
Oh, wow. Put me on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a very good friend of mine by the name of Damon Granger, he's been a client of mine for a number of years, even from the CRM days. And one of his stores, there's 4 stores in this family group, and if he hears this, he'll probably kill me. But, the Honda store was run by one of the family members, and, I was never asked a lot to come in and help. But Damon always literally wore me out on a daily basis. Hey, how about this? How about that? And he knew he and I were on the same wavelength. And he calls me up and he says, hey, my family member's retiring and I'm taking over the Honda store. And I was like a kid in a candy store. I said, okay, let's go. I can't wait. And the store was doing about 130, 140 vehicles a month. And, where do you start? It's kind of one of those things. So, we started looking at people, we started looking at processes. We started looking at, okay, what kind of technology are we using to communicate? What is the message? Things like that. And lo and behold, it took about 6, 7 months. And now all of a sudden, 200 cars a month is not enough. We want 250. And without getting into too many specifics, I don't know if you want me to get specific, but those are some of the things we put in place. And one thing I love about Damon Granger is he's always open to ideas and things out of the box. And same with, my gosh, there's been, how many can I name?
Well, stay on him just for a minute, because Charity is, and we are looking for, I know what you just said, and it's remarkable, but we're looking for something. So, something a little more granular. What are some of the things you did? Not all of them, but some of the things you did.
Well, you've heard me in the morning on Clubhouse talk about the language we use.
Yes.
Whether it be speaking, texting, emailing, or video. We have to speak differently and professionally. If I ask someone, hey, do you have a trade? No, I don't have a trade. But you got to dig a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to ask them if they have a trade. By the way, are you adding or replacing a vehicle in your family?
Right on.
I didn't ask them if they had a trade. Oh, well, yeah, I do have a vehicle now. Obviously, I'm driving something.
Yeah, right. Well, great. Are you adding or replacing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, is it either what I have currently isn't doing what I want it to do, or do I need something different?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bazillion scenarios. Adding, I've got a son or daughter going to college or school. I have to add to my family. Those bring up human conversations, and you start the relationship that way. And another one of the questions I say I want to ask is this for you or someone else? Do I have the buyer or the decision maker? Am I talking to the husband who's really calling for the wife? Well, I don't care how long you're married. Right, Russell?
Right.
I'm 36. I'm married 36 years. I think I know what my wife wants, but I sure as heck better ask her first.
Damn right, baby. Damn right.
I know my wife pretty well, but I'm not, making any major purchases without, getting her involved. So there's another question that, really needs to be asked. And, I listen to phone calls all the time, but only if there's wine involved. And you hear the conversations, and you just want to scream at the top of your lungs. Do you have a payoff? Oh my gosh. Isn't it easier just to ask, is there a balance on your vehicle?
Yeah.
Who with? Well, if they say it's with Bank of America, probably gives me an indication they may have decent credit. If they say Santander, a red flag goes up. They may have had some bumps and bruises. So then you govern the conversation in that direction. But it only happens when we ask the right questions professionally and at the right time. And that's really what I do on a daily basis. Allie, that's been coming in our room here
Yes.
the last 6 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
So she's fairly new in her sales manager role. And the other morning she says, oh, I got 2 brand new salespeople. And I jumped in and I said, hey, great. Why don't you let me spend a half an hour with them and let me just talk about the words that we use in the car business.
Right.
And I did that yesterday afternoon. On my website, I have tons of material. I give it away free. Please use it, please.
Yeah.
Just use it.
So do you remember the meltdown in 2000, right? Tech meltdown. We're talking salespeople, mass exodus, etc. And a lot of them. I was still running the store at 99. I was still running. Anyway, these people came in and were looking for sales jobs. Okay, and it's really funny about the car business. I'm going someplace, and the words you use and stuff that Thomas is talking about will completely transform your life if you get it and really understand it on how to engage with people the right way. Listen to understand instead of listening to respond, even though I'm still guilty of that as well. But anyway, these people, and it's not absolute, but many of them who were extremely successful in sales in their corporations fell flat on their face. They didn't understand the road to the sale. They didn't really understand that. What I found consequently in reverse, people that spent years in the automotive business that looked at it as a profession, like what Thomas is talking about, they could just about go anywhere with the skills they have without the credentials or knowing about the product, because it is all people. It's all just, he started off with people, and I'm sure he's going to end with people, but there's so much more in between. Do you agree, Thomas? Or
Oh my gosh, 100%. One of the reasons I liked DigitalCarGuy is because I would always tell people, hey, I'm like a computer. You may say something and it's going to trigger either a memory or an instance that I remember on how I handled something or did something in a certain way. And it's like that in Clubhouse. You get 50, 60 car people in there, and one person will say something and it triggers a whole nother conversation. I mean, the best part about me being a facilitator of that room is I can just chum the water by saying one sentence, and boom, we're off on a tangent for 2 hours. And, Gary Barbera, absolutely love that man. He listens to the replays every day when he gets up in the morning and works out. And he'll bring something up that we spoke about, or may have gone on a different tangent or a different direction. And now all of a sudden, now we're off on something else. And it's the same thing with me, with the clients I speak with. They'll come to me with an issue or something that's, sticking in their craw, and explain it. And all of a sudden, boom, it clicks a memory or a response.
Yep.
And, a lot of times, people ask me for scripts and things like that. And I may not respond exactly the same way every time, but the context of it and the gist is always going to be there. That makes sense?
Yeah, we don't want to. What I hear you say is scripts are fine as a guide, but you need to incorporate it into your personality, your mannerisms, everything else, in order for it to work. Because if not, I got to say this, and I know Cherry's got a lot of questions here, and I get off on a tangent. So, I didn't really understand it. And I learned this in the car business, that initially I didn't know what I was doing, but I acted like I did. Okay. People are standoffish when they're coming in. They're scared. It's like you open the door to your house and turn around and walk away. And it's like, what, do I come in or did I do something wrong? No, invite them in, you welcome them, all that kind of stuff. And if you turn around and say, follow me, and turn around, they're going to follow you. But where I'm going with all that is I forgot where I was going with all that.
It's just like, welcoming. First off, when you're sitting on the couch at night, whether you're reading or watching TV, I say this, I've done this a million times. So I'm sitting on my couch and watching TV. Do I leave the front door and the back door open and let people walk in freely? Heck no. If they walk in, do I find out who they are and why they're here? Yeah. Why don't you treat your showroom and your service drive the same way?
Damn it, I am pissed at myself because I cannot remember. And it was such a phenomenal point. Must have not been too important.
It'll come back to you.
It'll come back to you.
In your moment.
Cherry, go ahead. Question. You're going to love this one.
I'm curious as to how you maintain your enthusiasm and your passion, for so many years across the same industry. What is it?
I'm going to respond with the same thing, Charity. It's people. No two people act, talk, walk the same way. And it's just like Russell said about the script. The gist of it and the context is there, but I may not say it the same way. And the biggest kick I get out of this business, Russell's already smiling. I was at Ford Motor Credit, happened to work on their mortgage for their very first store, ended up being their new car manager when they first opened the door. One of the fellows I hired when I first got there in sales was a cable installer. And the only reason I remember this story so vividly is last year I happened to go visit the store and he reminded me of this. He said, I was a cable installer making $2,500 a month. He said, I went through your interview process. You hired me. I went through your training and your class. He said, I made $10,000 the first month and I've never looked back. 20 years later, he's still there. He's a GSM.
Nice.
That, Charity, is the secret sauce.
And with that, I just remembered the point I lost.
Okay.
I just lost. Oh, here. Okay. So do you remember? I was just kind of having fun at the other one I did. So people, okay. You can't lie to people. You might think you can, but the body doesn't lie. Your words can. So if your words don't match your actions, people that are in the dealership or any place in life where you're at, they're going to know. You know that uncomfortable feeling that you get from time to time when you're dealing with somebody, you can't really put your finger on it, but what you just realized at the gut, that their words aren't matching their actions. Something is not connected there. Okay. Like as a man thinketh in his heart, etc. So people know that this is an extremely valuable skill. Just be who you are. Can you just be who you are?
Working in high volume dealerships and especially F&I, I always tell people, always respond with the truth, because you'll never have to remember what lie you told. And especially in F&I, I've delivered, most people won't believe this, but I've delivered over 200 vehicles a month myself. And you can't be that efficient if you're always trying to cover your tracks.
That's right. That's amazing.
So always respond with the truth.
Sherry, I wanted you to get to this question. I don't want to prompt you for it, but I want you to tell us the third question, because Thomas loves this stuff here.
Okay. Well, let me ask a different.
Okay. Yeah. You ask whatever you want.
We're still on this topic. So, have you ever encountered a problem that you couldn't solve, or it was extremely difficult to solve, if not impossible to solve?
Wow.
Dig.
That's Charity.
Well, I don't know that I even understand the word impossible. Because if you've got people and process and patience, you can overcome just about anything. And and that's how I really look at life. And when David Long first came to me and said, hey, do you want to be part of this pandemic of positivity? I said, part of it? I've been living it all my life. There's nothing I don't think you can't overcome. And that's how I really look at just about anything in life. Heck, I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. My father passed away when I was 9 years old. I can go on and on and on, but I don't dwell on those things. Even when I had, cancer, sitting in a doctor's office, he's got my wife and I sitting there, and he says to me, Thomas, you got stage 4 cancer, prepare for the worst. If that doesn't knock you back in your chair, nothing will.
Right.
But I went home and I visualized angels with pitchforks chopping at the cancer. I came through surgery. My wife said the surgeon was probably 50, 60 feet from her down a hallway. He spotted her, and let me tell you something. Dr. Miller he's probably now in his 70s. But back then he was late 60s. That man was in a tribe. Came to my wife and he says, I don't know who's been praying for this man, but it's an absolute miracle. No cancer in his lymph nodes, no cancer anywhere. We caught it. And no radiation, no chemo, no drugs. All I do is take vitamins. And I just love every single flipping day. My mission on this earth is to spread the good word every single day. And that's what keeps me going, Charity.
Wow. I think Charity was looking for that actually. And and when I hear stage 4, that's almost like that's the end.
It's a death word.
Yeah.
So would it be safe to say that you believe in God or Jesus Christ as your savior, or is the spiritual side of things, or your faith has a lot to do with your pandemic of positivity?
Oh, 100%. There's nothing we can't overcome. As long as I got Jesus on my side, I am bulletproof.
Okay, Thomas, listen, I gotta call you on the carpet right now. Okay. And you would be an anomaly. There wasn't a time where you were at some crossroad and where your belief system isn't what it was today, but things looked, like Charity mentioned earlier, impossible, insurmountable, because to have the attitude that you have and helping people the way you help people, have you been that way all your life, or was there a point where it's like, oh, this is not working for me and things are going to have to change? I'm just curious. And of course, you don't have to share anything really personal either.
Well, I came from an Italian Catholic family. And
Ieracitano, go figure.
there's a lot of, your aunts, your uncles, there's all kinds of, family unit. And even though I knew I had that safety net, I didn't want one. And, just something as simple as moving out on your own while I'm selling cars. And, then progressing in my career. Back in 07, 08, we had a crash.
Oh my gosh. Cash for clunkers, baby.
Oh, well, even before that, real estate took a dive.
Oh yeah. Big time.
And I had 2 houses. The one we were living in, I had a rental house.
Oh.
And hey, I had to claim bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I didn't have any choice. And then my wife comes to me and says, Thomas, my mother's getting older. We need to move to Valdosta. I'm like,
What's Valdosta?
Yeah, where's that?
Valdosta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay. I knew no one in Valdosta in the car business. I went to the internet. I emailed them all. No response. Tried it again. Second time, I had a Dodge dealer reply. And I just put in there 20 years in the car business. That was it. So I called my mother-in-law up and I said, guess who's coming to dinner? I'm packing a suitcase. I went to 2 stores. I went to the Dodge store. And I said, well, how many cars a month are you selling? Well, 20 or 30. And I said, well, you can't afford me. And I said, well, who's the biggest store in town? Toyota store. Okay. And I'm going this because you made a point earlier, Russell. I walk in, of course, I'm in a suit and tie, and I walk into the showroom. I don't get up. It's like I've got, cloud or something. Nobody wants to come near me. So I walk over to the Tower of Power. I wait.
Tower of Power.
The Tower of Power. I wait for a few minutes. And the manager looks at me and says, hi, can I help you? And I said, actually, I can help you sell more cars. He says, okay, what you got? Hand him my resume. He picks it up, looks at it and goes, ooh, hold on a second. Goes upstairs, gets the GM. GM comes downstairs. It's Ashley Carter. We've become, we've been friends since. He looks at my resume and goes, damn, son, you're like a pedigree. You got papers. I said, well, I've worked for some great organizations, and you know, I'm moving to Valdosta, and I hear you're the big guy in town. That's who I want to be with. And he says, great, you're hired. When do you want to start? I said, okay, tomorrow. He says, okay, but one thing you're gonna have to do for me. I said, what's that? You're gonna have to sell cars and show me that you know how to do it. I was like, Ashley, I've been on the floor 20 years. What the heck are you talking about? He said, baby, it ain't changed. You ready? I said, okay, let's go. And then he says to me, the good news is I have 5 appointments set up for you tomorrow.
Huh?
That's exactly what I was like, what? What are you talking about? So while we use eLead, the CRM, we also use our call center to data mine for us.
Oh, okay.
So, hey, he lined them up. I knocked them down. And then he said to me, a couple of days later, he says, look, I want you to be my GSM. I just can't give you the title because I promised it to my used car manager.
Uh-oh.
And I said, hey, listen, I don't care what you call me. Just pay me.
Yeah, that's right. You want the title or you want to make the money? Which one? You want?
Just pay me, big boy. And hey, we did that for a few years. And unfortunately, we had a new GM comes in. He wants to bring his people. I end up going to a Ford store. I called my buddy up at eLead and said, hey, come sign me up. He gets a dealer to sign the paperwork. We're walking across the parking lot, and he says to me, how come you're not working for us? That was my next transition into eLead for 10 years. That's my story. Sticking to it.
That's a great segue to this question Russell wanted me to ask you earlier. Tell us about internet leads in the dealership. What's that conversation usually look like?
Now we only got an hour, Thomas, and we're burning that up. So no, he's really passionate about this. Please.
Yeah, tell us.
It goes back to people again. We hear, really sure in the morning, I got 300 tasks I got to complete by the other day. And I said, yeah, you're losing the whole focus. Those are 300 people. And then he took my key and I connected him with co-video, and he's like, oh my gosh, what a revelation. He says, the people I couldn't get a hold of via text or email or phone, I sent them I made a video and I sent them a video, and now they're replying. I'm going to go back to Charity's original question, internet leads. That is your new showroom. And not new, forget it. My gosh, it's been going on since 2000. It's your virtual showroom. It's where you got to meet people first. They're doing, I hear different things, 9 hours, 18 hours, 22 hours worth of research before they get the nerve up to give you their name and phone number and email address. And they're just waiting for us to screw it up. That's why they go to 5 different dealers. Or the OEM says, hey, they came to our website, we're giving it to 5 local dealers. And it's just the same with a phone up. They're calling you to eliminate you from their list, not to add you to their list of people they want to talk to or vehicles they want to find out about.
Good point.
And what we have to do is always slow it down. Remember, these are people looking to spend their hard-earned money with you, and just treat them with kindness and respect. Answer their question. Let me say that again. Answer their initial question and respond quickly. If I text Russell and say, hey, what do you want to get together for lunch today? Am I going to wait 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, or 2 days to respond to that text? No,
right away.
Yeah. I can, and this morning we talked about just that. We touched on a little bit this morning, and I said, hey, I'm a CRM ninja. And the best teacher is repetition. Doing it over and over and over and over again and being successful at it. And sometimes you try it a little different here, you try it a little different there, but the main thing still has to be the main thing. I need to answer their questions, respond quickly, and just give them the information and ask the right questions to get the 5 W's and an H: the who, the what, the why, the when, the where, and the how. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Right on. You know, it's really funny, Thomas. It's not rocket science. I think we tend to make it that way, but people, they're looking for somebody to connect with. They're obviously in the market. Okay. They're obviously in the market. So even if you know you're not going to get in, why don't you put them at ease? Say, well, just, we're not buying. That's great. We'll call it a fact finding, got an information visit. I want to make sure you have all the information you need so you can make the most intelligent decision for you and your family. I get it. I'm that way too. But listen, the leading questions he was talking about, is this for you, somebody else, lighter colors, darker colors, your performance, safety, electric. I mean, you know, just get them. People will tell you, if you listen, they'll tell you everything you need to know to close the deal.
Yes, sir. 100% agree.
Yeah.
I got to tell you about one experience.
Ask Charity permission first.
Oh, Cherry, yeah. Customer, I was selling, and I learned this technique. I thought it was real great. You know how, and I do it, and all of us do it. Think about it. You go into an establishment, and a sales associate or somebody comes up and says, "Can I help?" No, I'm just looking. Conditioned response, right? I'm just looking. Okay, you don't know what the hell you're looking at. There's so much stuff in there, you don't even know where to begin, right? So same thing in the car business, right? People come in, you know, it's a hello, welcome, or welcome back. My name is Russell, and your name is whatever. Oh, we're just looking. Okay, that's fine. I get it. I understand. We don't want to be, I understand. I respect it. I feel that way sometimes too. A lot of my clients do. I'll tell you what, see that stair, those stairs right there to the building? I'm going to be standing right there. And if you need anything, there's a lot to look at and to consider. I'm here to help. Just look over your shoulder and I'll be there. And I'll tell you what, I'd go up and perch myself up there. And within 2 or 3 minutes, they'd look over their shoulder and I'd start off. They said, no. And then another 2 or 3 minutes would go by. They'd look over their shoulder and I'd start again. Yeah, come on. And I mean, you got to have fun. You just got to have fun, man. See, listen, this is the car business. Yeah, it's WTF, whatever. It's a great title. It's worked really well for us. But it's just the car business. It's just people. Advisors are selling. Salespeople are selling. They always need to learn different techniques and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, there was a time. What does that say? Oh, yeah.
Love people more than cars.
Yeah, love people more than cars. When similar situation to Thomas, I was applying for the #1 Toyota store in the Dallas area. This was back in 1990, 91, and it happened to be Toyota Richardson. And I went in there, and I mean, you know, to get a job there is almost near impossible. It's like the floodgates were opened and everybody wanted to work there. I mean, it was just phenomenal management and training and all that kind of stuff. And I got trained by some really, really good people. But when I showed up similar to apply, anyway, they said, okay, I mean, there was people everywhere. There was a Toyota Corolla on the showroom floor. And he said, okay, here, let's do this. Do a 6-point walk around right now. Right now? Right now. I did it and he hired me on the spot. But I got to tell you, this was the Van Tuyl organization. And a lot of you know who Van Tuyl is. But back in the day, you couldn't go to the desk unless the Tower of Power, unless you had a commitment. If you let a customer walk, you got one warning. If you let somebody walk again without touching the desk, you got your box and you packed your bags and you're out. It's not that way today. Whatever you want, this could be a vehicle to get there, but you got to have a why. You can learn what and how, but something has got to motivate you to keep you coming back. And if you're not motivated by engaging with people and giving back, you probably won't make it. It's not the right industry for you. But anyway, Thomas, what do you think about all that? My God, we only got 3 questions out of the way of this whole thing.
Well, you've heard me say this a million times. Why don't salespeople post on social media? Because they're not committed to the business as a career. I'm only here till I find the next job, the next just over broke situation. If you're committed to this,
That's right.
the people that come into our clubhouse room, they're committed. from presidents to porters. And that's why they're there, because they want to get better at their craft, better at their profession.
Yeah, let me tell you what, they'll call you. I'm talking Kevin's and the Davids and Tom. I could go on and on and on with the names in the room. If you're not genuine, and it's sometimes it's kind of intimidating, okay, because of some of the people you hear and the things that they're talking about. And I heard a couple of things this morning, and you could instantly shut somebody down like you're a blithering idiot for even asking. There are no dumb questions. Okay. If people know you're there to really learn and to learn something, you're going to do something with it, man, they'll pour their heart and soul out to you. And I'm talking about some of the best in this room. So now the digital car guy, you're 62 then when you start your own business.
Oh yeah. When I started. Yeah.
Okay. Were you scared? Were you intimidated? Were you nervous, or, nothing like that? You just put it out there.
Well, yes and no. And like any normal human being, I thought I needed a job. And I started out that way. And then I realized I had to kick it upstairs. You're not in control of your life, whether you believe it or not. And because I love Jesus Christ and he's my savior and my mentor, I sat back and I went, okay, you know what I'm supposed to be doing. Just hit me in the head and let me at least see the signs you're sending me.
Well, he didn't hit you in the head, did he? Or
not that hard, no.
Okay.
I'm going to ask one more question before we run out of time.
Oh shit, we're already out of time. Okay.
If you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about the automotive business, what would you do?
Wow.
Man, that's Charity.
That's deep.
Charity, you're the beast.
Man, listen, if you saw some of the other questions, she'll take you on a journey and you'll be divulging stuff she knew you would divulge, but you didn't think you ever would. Trust me, she's good.
Well, heck, I hope I get to do this again.
Sure.
Magic wand. Well, the good news and bad news are all rolled up into one. The bad dealers make the good dealers look really, really good. And to say I'm magic wand to make everybody a good dealer and be good to their first and most important customer, which is their employee. Second, to the customers that are walking in the front door. That would be naive of me to believe that would happen. And that everybody would be, joining hands and singing Kumbaya. But like I said earlier, I think the not so good dealers are the ones that aren't paying attention to their people, whether they be customers or employees. They make the rest of us look wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I had a magic wand and be able to make them all that way, all wonderful, I think that would be very idealistic and socialistic. So I don't know how to answer that question, Charity, other than that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a difficult question, but I hear what you're saying. And from my perspective, I've been to dealerships in my area. I'm in Oregon, and I've never experienced the type that we talk about on the show. These amazing dealerships that always, what was the sign that said, "We're here to wow you"? I've never seen anything. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
They're out there. It's just only 5% of them are really that way. We're trying to impact the other 95%, or they're going to get left in the dust.
Yeah.
Well, the unfortunate part is they start on this journey for one reason, to make money. And that ends up becoming the main focus. And then, like we've seen over the years, you get the PhD, Papa has dealership. That person, the chances of that person making it is very slim, only because their focus and their drive is not money. Sometimes they make it because they want to make it better. And it's like it's like a large, like the Titanic. It's hard, it takes a long time long time to steer it in the right direction. And do you have the patience and the fortitude for it? It's just like going in and taking over a dealership that's maybe not had a great reputation. It takes a while to get that headed in the right direction. Does the guy that or gal that owns the store have the patience and the fortitude to withstand the waves in between, steering that ship in the right direction?
Good point.
Any sense?
No, it does make a lot of sense. So listen, Thomas, Sherry and I are humbled and honored that you brought the perspective and that you showed up today. And for all of you out there, listen, this is another extremely successful episode with Thomas Ieracitano and on WTF, and that's What the Fixed Ops. So I got to tell you, when this comes out, like him, love him, share him, make comments. If you got questions, contact the Digital Car Guy. Trust me, he's easy to find online, okay? Or show up to Clubhouse if you want to get more information and see how all of us are trying to raise the bar and change the industry. So thank you once again, Patrick and Charity. Thank you for making all of this happen. And Thomas, for all you do for this industry, I know you're going to continue to be blessed. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas.
Brother. Oh, Charity, my pleasure's mine. Patrick, same to you. Pleasure's been all mine.